Hi there, and welcome to our third episode of Continence Chats. My name's Joe Bailey, and I work for LINC-Medical Systems. And the idea behind Continence Chats is that we're given the opportunity to catheter users to share their story and experience with other catheter users so that you can receive tips and helpful information about living with a catheter. Today I've got on the line Marion from Yorkshire, who's going to be sharing with us about her story of living with a catheter. So let's begin. Well, thank you, Marion, for joining us today.
All right.
Really appreciate you coming on Continence Chats and being willing to share your story. So tell us a bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do with your time? Tell us.
Well, I live in West Yorkshire.
Okay.
Liversedge, actually, so you won't know it, but yeah. I go caravanning.
Okay. Very nice. Have you been able to do anything during the lockdown? Have you been completely stuck at home? Or?
No, because I'm in a wheelchair.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So.
Lovely.
So that's how I got me catheter. Actually, 11 years ago, I ended up in a wheelchair. So it's
sure. So that leads me on to my next question. What started you on the journey to needing a catheter?
Well, I do have one or two brain tumours.
Right.
And it started, I had two removed. But one of them has moved. And what it's done is I've no feeling from just below my waist down.
Right, okay.
So that's how I started with a catheter because, of course, I couldn't.
Yeah. Sure. And do you have a suprapubic catheter?
Yes, I do now.
Yeah.
I started with an ordinary one.
Sure.
But because I had no feeling down there,
yeah,
my muscles wouldn't keep it in.
Yeah.
So, as I say, it was coming out with the balloon fully inflated.
Sure. So when the doctor told you that you needed a suprapubic catheter, how did you feel about that? Was there anxiety, or were you quite happy, relieved to hear that, or?
No, well, I was really, because as it happens, I were in what I call nappies.
Yeah.
Which were then pull-on pants, which were making me really sore. So I wasn't. So I were quite happy about that, actually.
Sure.
Being able to come up with something else, you know.
Yeah. Sure. What was the procedure like? Was it anything? If someone was to be in your position, how you were a few years ago, and they're told by the doctor, you need a suprapubic catheter, and they're perhaps anxious about that, what would you say to them?
Oh, it only takes a few minutes to do.
Okay.
You have a local anaesthetic. I mean, it didn't bother me anyway because I have no feeling anyway. But they do give you a local anaesthetic, and they reckon that you don't feel anything.
Sure.
So, so there again, it's quickly done. You just go in as a day case. As long as, and it's sort of like, what they do is they fill your bladder. So it's only like having what do you call it? An ultrasound, is it? Yeah. They just put a thing with some gel over to find your bladder, and then they just do it. Make an incision, and that's it.
Great.
Put one in.
Did it change your life to have a suprapubic catheter? Did it make life easy? Did it make life harder? What was your experience?
No, it made life easier, a lot easier for me.
How did it do that?
Well, I didn't have to wear nappies anymore. That one thing. So
gave you some dignity and yeah.
Yes, so I was sort of like, I didn't get sore anymore, so it was a lot better. My carer didn't have to keep putting cream on me or what have you. So, but I must admit, I have had some trouble with it.
Right, sure.
This is my 4th one I've had done.
Right.
Because if they come out,
right,
you've only so long to have another one put in.
Sure.
Before it starts healing up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you to watch that out.
I think that's an important point that that needs to be borne in mind with the suprapubic catheter, that you do have that very short window of time if one falls out.
Yes,
to get a new one back in. What was your experience? Were you delayed in getting to the hospital?
Yes, I was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what would you advise to those with a suprapubic catheter if it falls out? What would you say to them?
Well, ring your district nurse first, because she's the one that after you've had it done, your first one is back at hospital.
Yeah.
And then after that, your district nurse sees to you, which is all right. But if she can't get to you in time,
you're
supposed to go to A&E.
Right. Okay.
And I think, from what I gather though now at A&E is, if your catheter isn't in, they can put something in now. I don't know what it is.
Sure.
But it stops it from closing up.
Yeah.
Till the doctor can get to you to fit you another catheter in.
Sure.
So that's all right to know now.
Yeah, it's a relief.
Didn't know that at the time.
And
but whether or not it's a new thing or not, I don't know.
Have you experienced any other challenges with perhaps any of the products that you've used, or your experience with a suprapubic catheter?
Yeah, the belly bags are better than the leg bags. Well, they are for me anyway.
Sure.
I find the more comfortable. Now, then, folks said to me, well, I thought you'd have it lower down, your bag lower down than what your bladder is, where this sits on your stomach. So it goes upwards, but it seems to work very well.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how it does it, but it does. And it's a lot comfortabler, actually.
Are there any other advice that you give perhaps to someone else in a similar position to you about products, or about trying products?
Yeah, try one or two. It's just a matter of trial and error, really. Same with suprapubic catheters. I use an open tip one.
Sure.
Because it's better than the other ones, because the other ones tend to block.
Yeah. And is blocking still a problem for you, or is it something that's...
No, it's not now. Now, actually, that was from the continence nurses at the hospital.
Okay.
That were telling me about that. Because I had to go, because we're having trouble with it blocking a lot. They sent me there, and they were saying to use an open tip one. Which I get now.
Great.
They're yours, I think. They're your make. Yeah, they are. I think they're your make. Okay. Yeah. I think about it. Yeah.
Great, good. And how long have you been using an open tip catheter for?
About just over a year now.
Right. Okay. And is there any other kind of tips or recommendations that you would give to other suprapubic catheter users? I noticed on the Facebook group there's a lot of people offering a lot of advice. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with others from your experience?
No, not really. Just to make sure it's kept clean.
Okay.
That's one thing. one or two seem to, I don't bother with the dressings on it anymore. Since it healed up, I don't bother with dressings. Now, one or two seems to keep the dressings on them, but I've found a bit of fresh air to it better. Whether or not it's my generation or not that thinks that, that when you were younger, you sort of, if you cut yourself, you sort of like let the fresh air get to it, which were better than, putting a plaster on. Sort of.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was really interesting, Marion. Thanks for joining us on Continence
It's
Chat.
all right, thank you.
I'm sure some of the things that you share will be a help to others who are in a similar position with similar questions. So, thanks, Marion. We really appreciate your time today.
Yes, thank you anyway.
Thanks
thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, same to you. Bye.
Bye-bye.